going to leave Dr. Peel's information up here for a little bit longer, evolvetowellness.net. You can check it out right here on the live video stream, thedrgliddenshow.tv, thedrgliddenshow.tv. Let's go right to the phones. People have been waiting patiently. Let's go to Myrtle Beach and talk to Jim. Hey, Jim, thanks for the call. You are live.
Hello, Dr. Glidden. Thanks for taking my call.
I'm happy to, Jim. I'm always happy to talk to you.
I missed one of my fellows yesterday, but anyway, I've got a fellow 65 years old, about 5 foot 5 inches tall, 150 pounds. He's been diagnosed with overactive thyroid, and he's on blood thinner, Aralto blood thinner. Wants to come off of that.
Yeah.
And that's the two primary things he's challenged with.
Okay, so overactive thyroid is an interesting condition. It's rare that people get an overactive thyroid. It's very much more prevalent that they get an underactive thyroid. When we have an overactive thyroid, we want to pay attention to the endocrine system in the body because the pituitary gland in the brain, the thyroid, the adrenal glands over the kidneys are all intimately related, and when one is out of balance, the others are going to be a little funky also. So this man needs comprehensive endocrine support, and we do that by eliminating the 10 bad foods and recommending a diet that's high in cholesterol, because all of his stress hormones and all of the nerves in his body are made from cholesterol. That's what they are made from. So it would be prudent for him to consume a diet that's high in cholesterol, also eliminating the 10 bad foods. Now, there are foods that he can eat that will knock down thyroid function and kind of help to rein in the overactive thyroid function without a medicinal effect, right? He doesn't have to take a prescription medication replete with side effects in order to help knock down thyroid function. The foods that he wants to eat are a category of foods called cruciferous vegetables. So broccoli and Brussels sprouts and cauliflower and eggplant, right? He needs to eat these foods every day. Cruciferous vegetables will decrease thyroid function. So, have him eat broccoli, cauliflower, eggplant, and Brussels sprouts every day. It will help him a great deal to be able to, kind of throw himself a life raft, so to speak, a life ring, while he's waiting for the medical nutrition to have a positive impact on his body. And whenever we're trying to support and promote healthy thyroid function, myrrh oil, M-Y-R-R-H, the essential oil of myrrh applied topically to the throat, right over the thyroid gland 3 times a day is a really good intervention. Myrrh oil, couple of drops of the essential oil of myrrh applied topically over the thyroid is a very good thing to do. And the nutritional program would be 1 Healthy Body Start Pack 2.0 liquid, 1 bottle of plant-derived minerals, and 2 bottles of selenium per 100 pounds of body weight per month. To that program, he can add the Immortalium, 1 bottle of Immortalium a month. And please advise him that he should go see a chiropractor, have a lateral x-ray of his neck done, and check the curve in his neck, because if the curve in his neck is not correct, then the nerves going to the thyroid are going to be funky. And if the nerves going to the thyroid are funky, thyroid can be funky. Oftentimes it's as simple as fixing the curve in the neck. But he needs to go to a chiropractor who knows how to do that. Not all chiropractors do that. So he needs to make some calls around and see if the chiropractors in his neighborhood are conversant with and have clinical experience with adjusting the cervical curve in the necks of their patients. And so that's what I would do. Eliminate the 10 bad foods, eat a lot of cruciferous vegetables, eat a lot of food that's high in cholesterol, take those nutritional supplements. And also...
Eggs, too.
Yeah, anything high in cholesterol, eggs, butter, full-fat milk, full-fat yogurt, turkey with the skin, chicken with the skin, rare hamburger, rare meat, right, with salt. We're all good with that. And his medical doctor, if he's on Coumadin, Should be
Aralto.
Okay, so they should be doing every 2 or 3 weeks a blood test to test for how thin his blood is or how thick his blood is. So after he starts this program, it's entirely possible that the essential fatty acids in the healthy pack will normalize the viscosity of his blood, and then the drug that he's taking will make his blood too thin. So when he goes back for his blood test, the MDs will see that his blood is too thin, and then they'll reduce the medication appropriately.
What was that last statement? Repeat that.
Until he doesn't need it at all. Well, he should be, if his doctors are on their game, then every 2 to 3 weeks, they should have him going back to their office to get a little blood test. It's a finger prick will do it.
Yeah.
That tests how thin or how thick his blood is, right?
Yes.
That's how they adjust the dosage of that medication. And so when he starts this program, it is entirely possible that his blood will start to get too thin because the essential fatty acids in our stuff are normalizing his blood's viscosity, and the drug is then making it too thin.
What's the dosage on what do you recommend dosage on the EFAs?
Well, it's just the EFAs that are in the Healthy Start Pack. I don't think he's going to need more than that. So, however many Healthy Packs he needs, take that many.
3 per day?
Yeah, take that many. How much does he weigh?
150.
Well, I'd give him 2 Healthy Packs. And if you don't want to do that, then give him 1 Healthy Pack, 1 Healthy Body Start Pack 2.0, 1 bottle of plant minerals, 3 bottles of selenium, 1 bottle of immortalium, and 1 bottle of multi-EFAs, 1 bottle of multi-EFAs. And then, the doctors will be able to adjust his medication down as his blood work starts to improve, and it's really a pretty easy thing to take care of.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Glidden.
Jim, it's always a pleasure. I appreciate you very much. You're doing really good work down there in Florida. There's a lot of people in Florida that need you. A lot of people, of our parents' generation. I'll speak for myself, of my parents' generation, that are just suffering needlessly. I mean, it's hard for them to get up out of a chair. They have to walk around with a cane. They can't play golf anymore. It's hard for them to sleep through the night. Everybody's got heartburn, and it's a problem. And all of it will go away with properly applied medical nutrition intervention. It is just to be able to help somebody sleep through the night without medication. You know how what a boon that is? And this is possible with what we're doing here. Quite frankly, it happens without our even trying to address it. I can't tell you how many people have come to me and talked to me about, I've got a high blood pressure issue. I've got a arthritic knee. I've got fibromyalgia. I've got Lyme's disease. I've got chronic fatigue or whatever. They don't even tell me that they can't sleep through the night. We put them on the program, and they start sleeping through the night. And they come back all excited. Doc, I'm sleeping through the night. Well, I think that's great, but I didn't know there was a problem to begin with. And that speaks to the holistic nature of what we're up to, right? Because everything in the body is connected. So when you give the body everything that it needs in absorbable recipes, and then you trust in the wisdom of the body to sort it all out, well, guess what? The body sorts it all out, and that's a beautiful thing. Paul is up next from Illinois. Hey, Paul, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Thank you, Dr. Glidden. I have a 61-year-old, 220-pound male. He's got a lot of problems. He's on 9 medications. The only thing, he's got rosacea, digestive problems, so obviously he's got a gluten problem. Gave him a list of the 10 bad foods. The only thing I had available was the Healthy Start Pack, the regular Healthy Start Pack. And he said, I talked to him here a few days ago, and he said he has a real problem getting the tangy down for some reason or other. And
it's an interesting thing. A lot of people have a problem with that supplement, especially if they're older, especially if they've been...
a lot of medicines, too, is what I figured. But.
Yeah, and it is, and it's kind of like... I don't know what would be a good metaphor, but, if you've got a sunburn and even if you put on the finest silk shirt, on your back, it's going to be irritated, right?
Yeah, correct.
So when people, for 60, 70 years, they're eating all the wrong foods. Their bodies are completely undernutrified, and now they have to deal with the extracurricular stress and strain of the prescription meds. I mean, they're like, an exposed nerve in your tooth, and everything is going to make them upset. Quite frankly, I'm surprised these people can make it through the day. I think the only reason that they can is because they're numbed out of their brains on the prescription meds. So when you see people like this having reactions like this, you have to get creative. So the first thing to do is to dramatically reduce the dose of the Beyond Tangy Tangerine.
That's the first thing I suggested.
Yeah, give it in extremely dilute dosages. You have to find a dose that they're going to be able to tolerate. And then every 7 days, which is just an easy thing to track, 7-day periods, right? Every 7 days, increase the dosage of it a little bit. Now, failing that, because the body will get used to it and will be able to tolerate it more and more if you step into it slowly like that. And, they can add anything they want to make it taste better. He can add, vodka to it I don't care what he adds to it, as long as it's none of the 10 bad foods. And also, another thing that you can do by way of thinking outside the box, make a popsicle out of it. How about that? Or put the crystals of the Beyond Tangy Tangerine sprinkle them directly onto full-fat yogurt, mix it into the yogurt, and then eat the yogurt, or put the sprinkles in a smoothie. They'll never be able to taste them if they're inside the smoothie. And, if you find a way to get the stuff in the body in a way that doesn't aggravate the body, then it's only a matter of time until you're able to increase the dose. He's able to tolerate it more, and, as there's more and more of this stuff in the body, he feels better and better, and then we're off to the races. And that's how we do it. Appreciate you very much. Stick around, folks. So much more to come. Love me some Carlos Santana, man. What's wrong with that? Not anything that I'm aware of. Let's go back to the phones again. Dora from California is up. Hey, Dora, thanks for the call.
Hi.
You are live.
I had varicose veins for quite a while. In fact, on my left and back of my ankle, it's about the size of a quarter, a little clumpy like. And then in back of my right knee, I found yesterday there's quite a few veins back there.
So you want to know what causes that and what we'd recommend to get on the other side of it?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so from our point of view, Dora, that's caused by a deficiency in the trace mineral copper.
How do you take copper?
Well, you lean heavily on longevity and Dr. Wallach's wisdom. Copper, right, is one of the 90 essential nutrients.
Uh-huh.
And if you were just to go to a health food store somewhere and get a copper supplement and start taking it, it would upset the balance of nutrients in your body, because copper and vitamin C and the trace mineral selenium are intimately related. Mm-hmm. So this is why we are not advocates of fractionated nutrition, which is the administration of large doses of single vitamins. Like Linus Pauling would advocate, getting intravenous drips of 20,000 milligrams of vitamin C, for instance. Well, that's not such a good idea. However, holistic medical nutrition with a little extra copper would be just what the doctor ordered for you. And the longevity supplement that is loaded with copper in a therapeutic dose is the selenium, the longevity selenium.
Oh, selenium?
Yeah, how much do you weigh?
116.
116?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I would do 6 selenium a day, 6 selenium a day. If you can, do 2 between meals 3 times a day. Selenium is best absorbed in the body on an empty stomach.
Now, do they eventually disappear, or?
Well, it depends entirely on too many variables to predict. They can disappear. But also, we need to understand that this is kind of a varicose vein, from our point of view, is a diagnostic indication. It's like the check engine light on the dashboard. It's an indication that there's a copper deficiency in the body.
Uh-huh.
And if there's a copper deficiency there's also a copper deficiency other places which are perhaps more dangerous. Mm-hmm. So whether or not we're able to make traction with the varicosities, it's entirely possible. I've seen it happen. But what's more to the point, it's an indication that your body is calling for copper. So I would take the selenium supplement that has the copper in it. If you're ever at a flea market or a health fair or sometime in the near future and you see those copper bracelets that some people sell, get a copper bracelet.
Oh, I do wear a copper bracelet.
Okay.
For about a couple of months or so.
Yeah, okay, great. So you want to maintain that discipline.
What about in foods? Any food has copper in it?
No, there's no food that, because remember, copper is a mineral, and the plant or the animal cannot make a mineral. The only place that the mineral is found is in the soil, and God only knows whether or not there was copper growing in the soil that, your carrot was grown in, or copper present in the soil in which your carrot was grown in. Trying to get copper supplementation or any other mineral into the body by eating food is silly.
But can I get these selenium just over the counter?
No, Dr. Wallach's selenium is my recommendation because
it's some with food or does it matter?
Between meals would be best, and the recommendation for you would be at your body weight would be 6 a day. 2 between breakfast and lunch, 2 between lunch and dinner, and 2 between dinner and bedtime. On an empty stomach, if your stomach can handle it. And if it makes your stomach a little upset, then eat a little fruit with the selenium supplementation, a little fruit or a little yogurt to settle your stomach. But stay away from nuts. Stay away from nuts when you do the selenium supplement.
Okay. What about exercise?
Well, exercise is okay as long as the body is nutrified.
Yeah. Well,
what's your blood type?
I really don't know.
Yeah. I would advise you to do an experiment with yoga or Tai Chi. If you can find a Tai Chi class for people in your age bracket, you might have a really great experience. Tai Chi is a wonderful exercise. 500 million Chinese can't be wrong. They do it every day. It's a worthwhile thing to try anyway. Thanks for the call, Dora. Hey, folks, check out the live video stream, thedrgliddenshow.com. We're back after these words. Shout out to my compatriots all the way from Ireland, listening on the live chat. Margaret is it all the way from Ireland. Thanks so much for your support, Margaret. Erin go bra. Let's go to the phones again. Hey, Dave and the Thumb is back with us from the Thumb of Michigan, by the way, the Thumb of Michigan. Hey, Dave, thanks for the call. Welcome back.
Hey, Doc, thanks a lot. How you doing?
Well, I'm great, but God willing and the creek don't rise, I'll get better. How are your solar panels doing?
Actually, pretty darn good, but my eyes are burning a little bit. I just had to spray some ionic silver in them because I sent out about 75 text messages about your free webinar tonight.
Well, that's an okay problem to have, Dave.
Yeah. Hopefully we get some response out of that, but
yeah.
I do have a couple of questions and a request. Dr. Erica Duffy, I haven't heard her on your show in a while.
Erica Duffy? You want me to have her back as a guest?
Yeah, I think you should. I think she would make a great Metaphysical Thursday guest. She does that, kind of self-hypnosis meditation kind of teaching.
All right, do you have her contact information, or can I just Google it?
I do. I have her cell phone number.
Well, you don't want to give me that out live.
No. I'll give you that offline. Actually, I can give you that right on the air because she does one-on-one and group sessions, and she gives that number out.
Oh, well, okay. I don't think I'm comfortable with that. But here's what I want you to do: call 855.
Hold on. I got to put it in my phone. I'm legally blind here, so slow down.
All right, slow down, brother.
Go ahead.
347.
347.
3696.
96.
Extension 2. Extension 2. That's if you hit extension 2, it goes direct to my office manager.
Oh.
And you can give her all the information, and then she'll give it to me, and life is good.
Okay, excellent. I remember you talked about, I think, Rafe, about the frequencies.
Yeah, the Rife frequency generator. The Rife frequency generator, yeah.
Right. My wife was at, we go to this farm store at a farm locally, and my wife met the owners there, and they were talking about, and when my wife told me about it, she just said these frequencies, and she said you go to rife.com, and I didn't put it together, and she went to the site, and she's playing these frequencies in the background on the computer, and last night on an after call, on a longevity after call with a bunch of longevity distributors hanging out and Sharon and Karen, and I mentioned that to some of the folks, and Bruce went and checked that site out, and he came back and he called me today and he said, I went to that Rife frequency site and it clicked, when he said it. I said, oh my God, I remember Doc Glidden had a show about that guy, and didn't they kill him?
Well, they confiscated all of his material, and what actually happened to him is, I can't remember, but...
Yeah, he went nuts or something, right?
Well, I don't know, but here's the deal. This was the basic understanding of this, for my listening audience that doesn't understand this, right? So, there was a gentleman years ago in the early 1900s. He developed a machine which generated radio wave pulsed frequencies at different frequency intervals into the human body, and he was able to kill different microorganisms with the radio frequencies, very similar in concept to being able to shatter a glass, like an opera singer. If they amplify their voice through, a microphone, they can use their voice to shatter the glass. Well, sound waves shattering the glass. Well, the trumpets bringing down the walls of Jericho, same idea. But Rife had dialed it in so that he had a specific frequency for this bacteria and a specific frequency for this virus and a specific frequency for a liver cancer cell and a specific frequency for, a kidney cancer cell and so forth and so on. And he was having remarkable results with it. The Food and Drug Administration came in, confiscated all of his stuff. Don't know what happened to him off the top of my head, but since he disappeared and the Food and Drug Administration got all of his equipment, nobody, to my knowledge, has been able to replicate the frequencies that he used, because they confiscated them, and he was very secretive about that, and he wouldn't let anybody else know what the frequencies were. So since his disappearance and the confiscation of his material, there have been a number of people who have tried to replicate his work with varying levels of success. I'm not aware of anybody that's currently able to generate the same amount of success that he was, because his frequencies were proprietary information. Just like the recipe for Coca-Cola. Well, nobody knows what that is. Pepsi comes close, and all these other cola companies come close, but it's not the same thing. So with the frequency generations that Rife was up to, they're very specific. And if you're off by, a hertz or a millihertz or a megahertz, it's not going to work. So really another nail in the coffin against holistic medicine. And of course the American Medical Association didn't want this information to be spread public, because then what would happen to antibiotics and the pharmaceutical industry? They'd all go belly up. So it's only a matter of time, however, before somebody comes along and replicates Rife's work. And maybe the political climate of the world will be different, and maybe the internet will make things different, and we'll be able to have some, purchase here with disseminating information like this. But it's fascinating stuff. And if there's anyone out there in radio land who has direct clinical experience with the Rife frequencies, I'd be willing to entertain a conversation with you on the air. I'm going to need to pre-interview you, though, just to make sure that we are both on the same page, because most people doing the Rife frequency work today just are not getting the same results that he was. But it's an interesting little piece of the pie of medical history. Quite frankly, from my point of view, one more reason to fire your medical doctor, because they are nothing but political scoundrels, quite frankly.
Well, Doc, I think this woman that my wife met is actually using that Rife.
There are a lot of people, Dave, but my point is that the results that people are getting are, what's the word? Questionable.
Yeah.
Right. And, nobody, it's the same thing with dark field microscopy. The people that are doing it are not using the scientific method to prove it. They're just not.
Right.
They should, but they're not. And so it's just this kind of sketchy gray area of this scientific / holistic / pseudoscience / real science. So who the hell knows? But, it's a scientific method, and you should be able to prove that this stuff works in a repeatable, double-blinded fashion. With something like this, you should be able to do that.
Right.
Because, the frequency either is effective at destroying the protein code of the bacteria or it's not. And you can see that under a microscope. So it's a very interesting field, and quite frankly, I believe if I were to make a prediction, I would say that the field of acoustics is going to be the next big thing in medicine. And, with different frequencies of radiation and different frequencies. And I don't mean ionizing radiation. I mean like ultraviolet radiation and light therapy. Light and sound therapy is what I'm talking about. If I had to make a prediction, I would say that light and sound therapy are the next big things to happen. And if we're lucky, that will happen in our lifetime.
Sounds good. Okay, what about a sinus infection?
Well, we do the killer biotic internally. We do the colloidal silver spray into the nose. And you have to, there's a way that you can get the spray into each nostril because you have 3 nasal cavities, 3 sinus cavities on each side of your head. And they each have little openings into the nose. And so by putting your head in different positions when you're squirting the colloidal silver into your nostrils, you can effectively get close, at least, to getting the colloidal silver to infiltrate into the sinus cavities. That's what I recommend. Colloidal silver inhaled through the nose, 3 sprays, 3 times to each nostril every 2 hours. And then internally the killer biotic plus a diet that's high in protein. And while you are in the throes of any infection anywhere in the body, don't even look at sugar, don't even look at fruit or fruit juice or honey or maple syrup or anything that has extracurricular sugar in it, because sugar consumption depresses immune function. Ironically, drinking orange juice when you're sick is one of the worst things that anybody can do because it downregulates your immune system, and that's not a good thing to do. So we avoid any extracurricular sugars. Eat a diet that's high in protein because that's what your immune system is made from, protein. Take the 90 essential nutrients appropriate for body weight, the killer biotic internally, and the colloidal silver nasal spray. Should be easy breezy, lemon squeezy within 14 days.
That's what I recommended, but I didn't mention the protein, extra protein in the diet, and the sugar. But what about extra EFAs?
Not a bad idea ever when we're attempting to interface with mucous membranes, because one of the reasons ostensibly that sinus infections happen is not because there's a virus or a bacteria present. It's because the environment of the sinus cavity is good for the growth of bacteria and the persistence of virus. So, and this goes back to the old argument between Louis Pasteur and Beauchamp when Pasteur first discovered microbes. Pasteur said it's the bug that's the thing, and Beauchamp said baloney, it's the environment of the body that's the thing, and that if the environment is healthy, the bug won't be able to get in and find a place to feed and breed. So, from our point of view, if somebody is dealing with chronic infections in a certain part of their body, it's probably not the presence of the microorganism that's the trouble. The problem is the environment of the body is problematic and has become a perfect breeding ground for the bacteria to feed and breed. So we always want to try to optimize different parts of the body when we're dealing with chronic infections. And one of the easiest ways to do that when we're optimizing sinus health is with essential fatty acid supplementation. And, your understanding of all of this, Dave, is a testament to the simple notion that the stuff that we're talking about here is easy to learn, easy to understand, and easy to disseminate. I mean, for goodness sake, you're legally blind, and you figured it out.
Right. Well, I tell you what, Doc, I love you. I've been going to Wallach, Glidden, Fuke University for about 2 years, 5 days a week for 4 hours a day. So, I owe it all to you guys, and we love you here. And I'll tell you, since you threw me out there into Longevity Nation, I'm busier than hell.
Gotta love it. I mean, that's a good problem to have, Dave. A really good problem to have. I appreciate everything that you do and your family. Keep up the good work. By the way, that's the father of the young woman who was having 300 seizures a day, bipolar, and type 2 diabetes, all of which have since resolved. How do you think that makes him feel? Motivated, just like the rest of Longevity Nation. We are the Grassroots Coalition of the Informed. Welcome to the revolution. Thanks a lot for spending another 2 hours with me. Again, if you're interested in what we have to say and you found me all by yourself, then please give this number a call, 855-347-3696. That's 855-347-3696, and someone from my Longevity organization will answer your call and show you the ropes. If you were told about this radio program through a friend or an associate or somebody who's already a Longevity member, then get with them to get information about what to do next. And if you're listening to this show on terrestrial radio and you want to take the next step, listen to the number given out by your radio station during their commercial break. Call that number, and someone local to your radio station will give you a call back and tell you what we are up to, answer all of your questions. We are a worldwide coalition of the informed, so lean on the people that showed you this show in order to take the next step. We're going to finish out today's show with Terry from Virginia. Hey, Terry, thanks for the phone call. You are live. And tell you what we are up to, answer all of your... Come on, Terry. Worldwide coalition of the... I think Terry's listening to me on the radio. Showed you. So we're going to have to go to Lee instead. Hey, Lee, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Good afternoon. I have a lady that lives in San Diego on dialysis, and she says that she's got to know what the product consists of and how she cannot take any potassium and so forth. What do you know about that?
Well, I know everything about that. I want you to call her back and send her a brochure for a funeral home and say, well, thank you very much, but you're not going to listen to advice from the world's leading expert on medical nutrition. You're going to nitpick that. You're going to second-guess that, or you're going to second-guess what your dialysis doctor tells you. No. Well, why are you going to second-guess what the world's leading expert on medical nutrition, Dr. Joel Wallach, is telling you for free? If you want to second-guess that, you want to think you're smarter than Dr. Wallach, then God bless you. It's a free country, more or less. But quite frankly, this is a problem that we're up against here, Lee. A little bit of knowledge is a bad thing. A little bit of knowledge gives people hubris and makes people think that they know better than they do. Really, what this woman needs to do is eat a little dose of humble pie and lean on the medical expert here. Lean on the medical expert. My recommendation to her is call Dr. Wallach on his radio program herself and ask him this question, listen to his reply, record his reply, and bring it to her medical doctor. That's the only way that we're going to be able to leverage people who are stuck in the mud like this. Because honestly, it frustrates the heck out of me because, right, number one, they've gone to their medical doctor. The medical doctor has failed them. They don't question the medical doctor whatsoever. They just keep going back and taking it up to you-know-what. And then another medical professional comes along, but it's a medical profession that they don't know anything about, that they don't really have any objective understanding about, and they don't really have any respect for it. And this medical profession's expert rises from the muck and mire of worldly sentient existence and flies in the face of conventional understanding and says, here, do A, B, and C. But the person says, well, I'm going to do A and B, but I'm not so sure about C. Well, guess what? Go pound sand. If you're not going to lean on Dr. Wallach, then just don't lean on Dr. Wallach, and that's okay. My advice, find a good burial plot because they're going to need it. Does understand what I'm talking about? There's only so much we can do here, ladies and gentlemen. There's only so much we can do. And remember, the sad fact of the matter is that your medical doctor may be the nicest person God ever created, but by virtue of their training, they do not know what's best for you. They only know what they're trained in. And what they're trained in, as it turns out, is only suited for trauma, emergency medicine, and a handful of infectious diseases. Bringing a suffering body with a chronic health condition to the office of an MD is a fool's errand because their philosophical understanding of the pathogenesis of disease and their training in what to do about it is old-fashioned, outdated, and inconsistent with pathophysiology. It is a fool's errand to bring your body to the office of an MD if you're suffering with a chronic health condition. My advice, eliminate the 10 bad foods, take the appropriate healthy start pack, appropriate for body weight, give it 90 days and look to see whether you get results or not. The proof of the pudding is in the eating. Surgery is complicated. Healing is easy. Hope to see you tonight on my worldwide anti-aging webinar. It's free. Check it out at drglidden.com. Until we meet in person, live long and prosper.